Okay, should be up there. Should be going to go. Again, turn that monitor, top monitor off for me and make sure you're paying attention. There are some things, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, there are some things on there that don't show the command, and I want to make sure that you guys are clear on all that. So, first things first, inside of Google Classroom, you will see something like this. So in Google Classroom, you'll see the 6 and 7, claw and the banana hook. And basically, those two things are through the tutorial. It links right to it. The first one is the claw, I call it. And basically, you're just going to draw this. Now, the catch is, or whatever you want to call it, the difference is that if you make it like this, it should work right out the gate. If you don't, and later on you'll figure out, well, I'll just show you later. This little red dot, that's the origin. So you have to make sure that that's the first part, okay? So if we open up Fusion right here, I already finished a sketch. Let's go to a new one just so we can get that other one out of there. Don't save it. Good to go. New sketch. Make sure you save this and then start from the origin. So it tells you to make a rectangle, something like this. And I'm just going to randomly do this. I'm not going to take the time to put the measurements or any measurements in right now. And then it says use splines. So for the do now, I asked you guys what a spline is. All a spline is if I click it, all a spline is a free-form line command. So I'll go here, and if you look at the drawing, there are 3 dots, and then it clicks here. You can bend this and twist this. I'm not holding it. I clicked once and let go. And then at the end, you can either press Enter or right-click and press OK. Now, what a spline can do is with these green vertices, you basically can manipulate that line and make it to whatever you want later on. We're not going to do that. That's the whole point of this spline. Okay. So after I'm done with that, for the sake of this example, I'm going to make this pretty close to what it looks like on there, and then it tells me to trim. So I'm going to trim these outer edges. And then I'm going to draw a random line from the origin to a random angle down and to the left. And then I'm going to use what's called mirror. If I go to Create and go to Mirror, I can select these 3 objects. And then it's asked me, sorry, the thing's right here. The command looks like this, 3 objects, and then the mirror line is going to be the line I make. Well, all it does is reflects whatever you selected over that line to make that same image. Okay? So then I'm going to make and right-click and press normal construction so that that's a construction line. That just focuses on that line, basically. And now when I move this line, it can either work or it doesn't work. And what the difference is if you look at this, if I hold the line, you'll see that these are bending and this is bending because these constraints are symmetrical. We've talked about that. We've done symmetric pieces. We don't want that. In the drawing, it asks you, and if you go back to the drawing, it shows you that the first one, and I'm going to show you the self-check part, I just skipped it all, looks something like what we're doing right now. This is what I made. Okay? What they want is this. They want you to be able to select it and it to be able to lock in. So the only difference is if you look, they put dimensions to each one of the dots, including the overall height and length. So all we have to do is go back to Fusion, add dimensions, and again, you're going to put the actual dimensions in. I'm not because I'm lazy and because I have a video going. I don't want to do all that. So if I press this, I go up, press OK, and again, this is just for the sake of time. You're going to actually punch in these measurements. So if I go from this edge to that dot, click, press OK. This edge to that dot, click, press OK. This edge to this dot, click, and press OK. And if these are all bunched up for you, you can just drag these and move them wherever you need them to. And then again, I'm still on dimension. So from here to this dot, click, right click, press OK. To this dot, right click, press OK. This dot, right click, press OK. Now that I have them all, I can then hold this. I'll cancel this now. I should be able to move, and you can see as I move it, the pieces don't move. I was trying to help Michelle like yesterday, and for whatever reason it wasn't working, and it was kind of janky. If you don't start from the origin, that's the key. If you don't start from the origin, you don't make this construction line, and if you delete any of these symmetries, it messes it all up. Okay, so make sure that we do as the video shows you. Any questions on that one? That's 6. Okay. If I finish that sketch, make sure that you guys, make sure you're in that sketch when you guys are taking your screenshot so that I can see that you dimensioned it and put it in the right corner like so. Okay? The new one. The newer one is basically, we call it the, put it over here. It's called the banana hook, and basically it just holds up bananas. If you look at it, the first one, it says get started. It shows you go to basic training, number 2, and sketching. If you go to Fusion and you click on the little Rubik's Cube, this is important kind of stepping stone. Banana hook automatically pops up for mine, but you're going to see just your folders. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see basic training right here. Double click basic training, and these are never in order. If they are, you're lucky. If they're not, then just look for sketching, number 2, and banana hook is the top one. I double click it, it's going to open up. I can close that. If you look here, it shows a little lock. This will not be able to be edited. You'll have to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to make this called Banana Hook, and I already put an IED. And now it unlocks it, press the little check mark. Okay? Now I can edit this. And what it tells you to do is to create a new sketch onto this bottom form, and then it tells you to project from the top view, which is, again, this is where it kind of gets tricky. It tells you to project from the top view down to that sketch. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stay in the sketch that we made, and I'm going to go to create. It doesn't tell you to do any of this, so I don't know why. It says to project all of the edges to this edge. Great. Well, how? I don't know. It says to project. So go to create, project, and project, or just P. And then you'll see basically you can project this and this edge at the same time. And now when I go into, it'll show me those lines and I can press OK. If I take that body away by pressing this I, you'll see that the lines are still there. Okay? So all it's doing is just giving me a reference to the upper portion of this basically model. Okay? Then it tells you to trace it, and I'm going to do so. I'll go over that whole thing. And that's all it wants for the base. It actually wants it to go all the way down here. Let me undo that. I'm going to go from this corner all the way to this corner. Press OK. Now I have that sketch, and if I go back again, it'll show you close off the projection points. So I'm just going to delete those other lines that I don't need. So there's this line I don't need. There's this line I don't need. That line again I don't need. That line I don't need. Okay. Now I got this just one square. Okay. If I go back again, I add fillets that are 10 in radius, 10 millimeters in radius. If I go to Fusion, fillets right up here. I click this edge. I click this edge. It's at 15. I type in 10. Press Enter. And then I can do fillet again, and now it should be set at 10 for each one. And it is. And I can do them all at the same time. I don't have to do one at a time. Right click and press OK. Now I have my filleted edges. When you make a fillet, it automatically makes these dots for the center of that circle, because all radius is a circle that's cut away some parts. So if you look at this, it says to make one circle that is 10 millimeters from one of these dots. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'll do 10, Enter. Now you could make a whole another 3 circles, or you could do what they're asking you to do and go to Create. And now we're going to do rectangular pattern rather than circular pattern. So I'm going to select that dot, or that one circle, and then I'm going to make and drag this way and this way. I'm going to change these to 2, and change this one to 2. And then it says to make this one 145, and it says to make this one, in this case it's negative 40. And now you'll see that it kind of locks in, and I made those circles. I press OK. Now, does it make much sense? You know, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, whatever, I don't care for these little, there's 4 circles. What's the difference? Well, if you're making 500 of them, it's going to make a difference. Okay? So, again, done with that part. Now we can go on to the next. It says to make the fillets. It says pattern the circle, which I already did. And then it says extrude the base as one solid piece. If I go to Fusion, I'm going to press Finish Sketch. I'm going to extrude. And I'm going to select even the circles. Don't forget the circles. And these corners are always absent for whatever reason. Instead of new body, I'm going to say join, and then I'm going to pull this down, and I believe it is 5. It says OK. So I press OK, and now this is a solid piece. Don't worry about this little piece. It's just one piece I forgot. No big deal. Next, I want those circles. It says to make those legs now is the last part. Create the legs. Creating the legs will look something like this when it's done, and it says to make them 5 millimeters, 10 millimeters long. And again, the end should look like this, where it has these little feet. So if I go to Fusion, I'm going to go to Extrude. It doesn't allow me to select those circles, but they're still there. I'm going to go to Sketch, and I'm going to turn the eyeball on so I can see those circles. Go to the other angle so I can see them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to join again, and this time I'm going to go 10. So it goes down, press OK, and I can turn that sketch off if I want it to look pretty. And now I made a base with little feet. Any questions? Your turn. Have fun.